Have you ever stopped to think about what really goes into building all this amazing tech that, well, pretty much runs our world now?
Hmm.
You know, from the apps on your phone right up to these huge, complex systems powering massive global companies. There's a real art and science to it, a strategy.
There absolutely is.
And today, that's exactly what we're diving deep into, that whole process.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive today is really to pull out the key insights from Dr. H.Schuessler's Mastering ITIL 4 for Information Systems Professionals.
Okay.
We want to give you, our listeners, a kind of shortcut to understand how building new systems isn't just about making something work. It's about actively driving competitive advantage.
Right, making things better.
Exactly. Improving efficiency, delivering real, tangible business value.
Yeah.
And doing all that while weaving in ITIL 4 best practices.
So for anyone listening who's maybe aiming for a career in IT service management or information systems, these are the practical things you need.
Invaluable takeaways. Absolutely. We're connecting theory directly to what you'll actually do in the field.
Great. And our main source today is, as you said, a chapter from Dr. H.Schuessler's book. It sounds like a really practical guide.
It is. It's designed for students, undergrad and grad level, but also for professionals who are actually out there applying the ITIL 4 framework day to day.
Perfect. It bridges that gap.
Yeah.
So, as we get into these concepts, just a quick reminder. If you find value in what we're discussing, please do hit like on this deep dive, subscribe for more, maybe share it with your friends or colleagues.
Mm-hmm. Helps us out a lot.
And definitely leave us a comment with your thoughts. We love hearing from you.
Okay, let's dive in. When we see companies pouring serious money into new systems, I'm thinking Workday, Salesforce, things like that, it feels like more than just another IT line item, right? Seems, I don't know, bigger than that.
Oh, it absolutely is. That's a fundamental shift. Information systems today, well, they're not just cost centers anymore. They are genuine strategic assets.
Strategic assets. Okay. Yeah. The leading companies, they get this. They invest heavily in IT because these systems boost efficiency, they spark innovation, they secure vital digital assets. Honestly, they're the engine for staying competitive.
So if a company just treats IT like a cost, they're falling behind.
Pretty much. You often see their productivity slip, their market position kind of erodes over time. It's about leveraging IT for advantage, not just keeping the lights on.
So it's almost like gaining an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
But, you know, in a good way.
Precisely. That's a great way to put it. A well-designed system can fundamentally change how you operate internally, how you interact with customers in ways competitors just can't easily copy.
Like automating things.
Exactly. Automating workflows, integrating data across departments.
Mm-hmm.
These things directly cut costs, speed up how fast you respond, and importantly, free up your people for more valuable work. The source really highlights how these systems, quote, enhance competitiveness, streamline operations, and enable data-driven decision-making.
And the data part is huge now, right?
Massive. With modern analytics tied into these systems, businesses can uncover crucial insights, market trends, customer behavior, leading to much smarter strategic decisions.
Okay, that definitely shifts my view away from IT just being, you know, a necessary cost. So if these systems are really engines for transformation, what does that mean for someone looking to build a career here? Can you give us some solid examples of these engines?
Sure. Let's take ERP systems, enterprise resource planning. Think SAP or Microsoft Dynamics.
Okay, heard of those?
Right. Businesses use these to basically unify everything. Core processes across finance, supply chain, HR, you name it. The key insight, they don't just organize stuff. They genuinely lower operating costs and give you like real-time visibility into the whole operation.
Okay.
Or think about CRM platforms, customer relationship management. Salesforce is the big one most people know.
Mm-hmm.
These let companies manage every single customer interaction. Telemarketing, boost sales.
Yeah.
Improve satisfaction. It's all about that customer view.
And HR systems, too.
Yep. HCM systems, human capital management, like Workday, they modernize HR and finance, giving leadership much better insights into their workforce, talent, and costs. So when you implement these strategically, they are digital transformation tools. They really change the game. Studies actually show companies that embrace this kind of transformation tend to outperform the ones that don't.
So for someone starting out, this is where the action is.
Definitely. You're potentially at the forefront of driving major business change. It's about making sure these system projects line up with the big picture, new markets, better customer experience, more efficiency. That's how you build agility and keep that competitive edge.
Okay, so when a company decides, Right, we need one of these transformative systems. They don't just start coding, right? There's
Yeah.
a structured process. You mentioned the SDLC systems development lifecycle. What exactly is that, and why is it so important?
Right. No winging it here. The SDLC is basically a proven framework, a step-by-step guide for planning, designing, building, testing, and deploying an information system, and crucially doing it with consistent quality.
And why is that structure so vital?
Well, these projects are incredibly complex. It's easy for them to go off the rails. The SDLC helps teams manage that complexity, you know, and it significantly cuts down the risk of failure. Plus, it gives everyone visibility, makes sure the system actually meets user needs and business goals. Think of it like the difference between building a house with a detailed blueprint versus just piling up bricks.
Okay, blueprint makes sense. And there are different phases in this blueprint, right? Let's walk through those, starting at the beginning. Planning. What's key here?
Planning. Yeah, this isn't just ticking boxes. It's often where projects are really won or lost, honestly. You figure out feasibility, can we even do this? What's the scope? What are the core needs? You do a really honest cost-benefit analysis, define clear goals, estimate resources, get the right team.
So getting that foundation solid is critical.
Absolutely critical. The rigor you put in up front, defining that scope, understanding the why, it saves you so much pain later. Skimp on planning, and, well, you're building on shaky ground.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, after planning comes analysis or requirements analysis. This sounds like another really crucial stage.
It absolutely is. Maybe the most crucial, arguably. This is where you gather all the detailed requirements, both functional, what the system must do, and non-functional.
Non-functional, like what?
Things like how fast it needs to be, performance, how secure, how easy it is to use, usability, can it handle growth, scalability. These are often the silent killers if you don't nail them down early.
Okay.
The main output here is often something called a Software Requirements Specification, or SRS. If you get this wrong, you could build a technically perfect system that completely misses the mark on what's actually needed.
Got it. So once you have those detailed requirements, you move to design.
Exactly. Now, you translate those requirements into an actual plan, a blueprint. How will the system meet these needs? This involves designing the architecture, the databases, the user interface, UI, the user experience, UX, the workflows.
So lots of diagrams and mock-ups.
Yep, outputs like diagrams, wireframes, maybe a formal system design specification. It's all about designing quality from the start, thinking about things like maintenance and future upgrades, making the requirements tangible.
And then comes the actual building, development, or coding.
That's right. This is where the developers get hands-on, writing code, configuring software, basically turning those design specs into a real working piece of the system. Could be custom code, could be setting up an off-the-shelf package, and importantly, they do unit testing as they go testing individual pieces.
Okay, building blocks coming together. Then it's testing and integration time. You can't skip this, surely.
Oh, absolutely not. Skipping testing is asking for trouble. This phase is all about rigorous testing, different levels. Testing individual units, testing how they work together, integration, testing the whole system, and crucially, UAT, user acceptance testing.
Where the actual users try it out.
Exactly. They validate if it meets their needs in the real world. The whole point is to find and squash bugs before it goes live. It's often iterative with development, build a bit, test a bit, fix a bit.
Right. And then the big moment, implementation or deployment, going live.
The big day. This is moving the tested system into the actual production environment where people will use it. Installing things, moving data over, configuring everything. You might do a big bang where everyone switches at once, or a phased rollout.
Phased seems less risky, maybe.
Often, yes. Depends on the situation. This phase also includes user training, getting support materials ready. Careful management here is key to avoid disrupting the business.
And finally, the phase that you said never really ends, maintenance.
Pretty much. Maintenance is ongoing. Monitoring the system, fixing bugs that pop up, making small improvements, applying security patches, and the feedback you get here, it often loops right back into planning for the next set of enhancements. It's a cycle.
And that costs money over time, too.
A significant chunk of the total cost of ownership, absolutely. It's important to remember, while we list these phases linearly, like 1 to 7, modern approaches often make it much more iterative. You might cycle through design, build, test multiple times. More flexible.
Okay, so we have this structured SDLC process, but where does IT service management like ITIL 4 fit into all this? How does it help make sure these systems actually deliver value smoothly once they're built?
Great question. This is where ITIL 4 really adds value. It has harmonize that system development work with the rest of the IT environment, making sure it fits in.
Okay.
So a really critical practice is change enablement. It used to be called change management.
Right.
Its job is to control changes to IT systems, any changes to minimize risk and disruption. When you're deploying a big new system, change enablement makes sure that change is properly assessed, authorized, and scheduled. It's about making sure you maximize the number of successful changes by ensuring risks have been properly assessed, getting the okay, and managing the timing.
So it's like a gatekeeper, making sure changes don't cause chaos.
Exactly. A gatekeeper, a coordinator. Before that new system goes live, it has to go through a formal change control process. A request for change is submitted, its risk is evaluated, maybe goes to a CA, a change advisory board.
CB.
Yeah, a group of experts who weigh the risks and benefits of significant changes. They give it the thumbs up or maybe send it back for more work. Change enablement also makes sure you have rollback plans, just in case. Success is measured by how many changes go live without causing new problems or incidents.
Okay, that makes sense. What else from ITIL helps here?
Another really relevant one is design in transition. This is actually an activity within the ITIL service value chain, and it mirrors a lot of the SDLC phases, especially design and implementation.
That's so.
It focuses on ensuring new systems are designed not just to work, but to be usable, reliable, maintainable, and that they transition smoothly into the live environment. It forces you to think about things like support models, service level agreements, SLAs, capacity needs before you launch, not as an afterthought.
Thinking ahead about operations.
Precisely. Like if you're building that new customer portal, design and transition makes you ask, how will we support this? What training do support staff need? What knowledge articles are required? All that up front.
Got it. And what about actually pushing the button to release it?
That brings us to release management. Its purpose is to make new and changed services and features available for use. So it's about packaging up a set of changes, could be the whole new system, could be updates, and deploying them in a controlled manner.
How is that different from change enablement then?
Good question. Change enablement authorizes the change to happen. Release management executes the deployment. It focuses on the practicalities of getting the new stuff out there, making sure all the pieces fit together, ensuring compatibility. As one expert, Stuart Rance, put it, it's about making new things available to people, not just deploying the tech itself. It's holistic.
Okay, I see the distinction. It really feels like these ITIL practices wrap around the SDLC, providing that sort of operational safety net.
That's a perfect way to describe it. A safety net. Ensuring the technical work connects smoothly with operational reality. They're the process glue. And there are others too, like service validation and testing, deployment management, knowledge management. Plus, ITIL 4's guiding principles focus on value, collaborate, progress iteratively. They all really resonate with good system development. And crucially, ITIL also covers organizational change management, the people side, which we need to talk more about. Integrating these practices just leads to better outcomes, smoother transitions, less risk.
Okay, great. Now, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about how teams actually go about building these systems. We hear different terms thrown around: Waterfall, Agile, DevOps. What are these and what are the pros and cons?
Right, the how.
Yeah.
These are different philosophies or approaches, and they really impact things like flexibility, timing, how you involve stakeholders. Let's start with the classic, Waterfall.
The old school one.
Pretty much the oldest structured one. It's
Yeah.
really linear, sequential. You finish one phase completely before the next one starts. Requirements done, sign off, then design, finish design, sign off, then implementation, and so on, like water falling down steps and only goes one way.
So very structured, but not very flexible.
Exactly. Its advantages are its simplicity, clear milestones, lots of documentation, which can be good if requirements are super stable, maybe for regulatory projects, or if you have large teams changing over time. But the big disadvantage is that inflexibility. If requirements change mid-project, it's tough and expensive to go back, and users don't see anything real until the very end.
So feedback comes really late.
Way too late, often.
Yeah.
Which means long delivery cycles before you get any usable software out the door.
Okay, that sounds potentially problematic in today's fast-moving world.
Yeah.
So what about Agile? That seems to be everywhere now.
Agile really came about as a reaction to Waterfall's limits. It's not one single method, but a whole family you hear about: Scrum, Kanban, XP. The core idea is being iterative and incremental. You deliver small working pieces of the system frequently in short cycles called sprints, usually 1 to 4 weeks. Each sprint is like a mini project. Plan, design, build, test, resulting in something potentially usable.
So lots of feedback, lots of adapting.
Absolutely paramount. Agile thrives on collaboration between developers and business folks, constant feedback from stakeholders, and embracing change. Requirements live in a prioritized backlog and get refined as you go. You deliver value early and often.
What are the benefits then? Sounds good.
Big benefits are flexibility, faster time to market for something useful, and usually higher customer satisfaction because they're involved all along. Risk is lower too because you find problems earlier. The challenge is it needs a different mindset, real discipline. Budgeting can be tricky since scope isn't fixed, and it demands a lot of time from the business side to provide that feedback.
Okay. And where does DevOps fit in all this? Is it another way to build or something else?
DevOps is a bit different. It kind of extends Agile principles beyond just development into IT operations. It's more of a cultural movement, really, focused on breaking down the traditional walls between the people who build the software, devs, and the people who run it,
Yeah.
ops.
Bridging that gap.
Exactly. While Agile speeds up development, DevOps speeds up getting that software released, deployed, and running reliably. It relies heavily on automation and collaboration. Think continuous delivery.
The infinity loop diagram you sometimes see?
That's the one. It visualizes that continuous cycle. Plan, code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, monitor, and then feed learnings back into planning. Key ideas are automation everywhere, CI/CD pipelines,
CI/CD.
continuous integration, and continuous delivery. Basically, code changes are automatically built, tested, and prepared for release, sometimes deploying multiple times a day. It fosters shared responsibility. Fewer throwing it over the wall moments between dev and ops.
Benefits sound like speed and reliability.
Huge speed increase, more frequent releases, faster recovery if something breaks, generally more stable systems. It also enables innovation, trying out new features safely with things like canary releases.
And how does this mesh with ITIL, which we just talked about? Seems like ITIL is about control, DevOps about speed.
They actually complement each other really well. DevOps automation makes idle practices like change enablement and release management better and safer, especially for frequent, low-risk changes. ITIL 4 acknowledges that standard changes can flow through automated pipelines, while high-risk ones still get that careful CA review. DevOps works best where you need that rapid deployment, like SaaS companies, but it needs investment in tools and culture. Research strongly shows DevOps leads to better performance and business results.
Okay, so for someone entering the field, they need to understand all three: Waterfall, Agile, DevOps.
Definitely need to understand the concepts. Waterfall, plan-driven, sequential; Agile, iterative, frequent value; DevOps, continuous flow, automation. In reality, many organizations use a hybrid approach, mixing elements depending on the project. Knowing when to apply which ideas is a key skill.
This is really hitting home. It's not just about the technology itself, is it? You could build the most technically brilliant system, but if people don't actually use it or use it properly, it's a failure. We're talking about the people side of change now.
You've absolutely nailed it. This is so often overlooked, but it's critical. Introducing a new system is as much a people challenge, maybe more so, than a technical one. And the change management here is Organizational Change Management, OCM, different from ITIL's change enablement.
Okay, OCM focuses on the people.
Exactly. OCM is all about ensuring that changes are implemented smoothly and that lasting benefits are achieved by managing the human aspects. Ignore this, and even a technically perfect rollout can flop because users resist, don't understand, or find workarounds. Imagine that shiny new ERP system sitting there while everyone still uses their old spreadsheets.
Yeah, I can picture that. So what are the key strategies then to manage this human element, to get people on board, not fighting it?
Okay, several key things. First, early and ongoing stakeholder involvement. Get users involved right from the start. Planning, analysis, it builds ownership. They feel like it's their system too.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, clear communication and vision. You need a solid communication plan. Explain the why, what's the benefit. Answer that crucial question, what's in it for me? For every group affected. Be transparent. Reduce fear and rumors.
Communication is key.
Third, robust training and support. Don't skimp here. Tailor training, hands-on practice, quick reference guides, and really beef up support right after go-live help desk, maybe even people on the floor helping out.
Floor walkers, right?
Yep. Fourth, business process alignment. New system usually means new ways of working. Map those changes, update policies, walk people through the new flows. Fifth, leadership and change champions. You need visible support from the top and identify influential users, change champions, who can help persuade their peers.
And what about resistance? It's bound to happen.
Absolutely. So sixth, manage resistance proactively. Anticipate it. Listen to concerns genuinely. sometimes involving the resistors helps. And celebrate small wins early on, show people it's working, like Cotter suggests. 7. Consider phased rollouts or pilots. Less scary than a big bang, lets you iron out kinks with a smaller group. And finally, 8th, measure adoption and benefits. Track who's using it, how much are they satisfied. Low adoption is a red flag that needs action.
That university workday example you mentioned, proactive communication and support, really made the difference there.
Huge difference. It showed they were thinking about the user experience of the change itself, not just the system.
So it really comes down to success, technical solution x user adoption. If adoption is low, the whole thing tanks.
Precisely. You have to actively guide people through that change curve, help them adapt. That's how the system actually delivers value instead of just becoming shelfware.
Okay, pulling it all together now. It seems like it always loops back to the bigger picture. Digital transformation is this huge buzzword, but how do these individual system projects actually slot into that grand strategy and deliver real, measurable business value?
They absolutely have to. Or they shouldn't be happening, frankly. System builds can't exist in a vacuum. They must directly align with business strategy.
How do you ensure that?
But constantly asking, how does this project support our overall strategy? If your strategy is customer centricity, then a new CRM makes perfect sense. If it's operational excellence, maybe an ERP is the answer. The business case needs to explicitly state the expected benefits in business terms, like reduce hiring time by 30%, not just implement HR system. And usually these projects are pieces of a larger puzzle, a digital transformation roadmap.
A roadmap. Like a plan over time.
Exactly. A high-level plan showing how various initiatives link together over, say, 3-5 years to achieve a larger transformation goal. Maybe it's modernizing core systems, then adding a mobile app, then AI features. It ensures coordination, prevents random acts of IT, and helps communicate the journey to everyone.
And you mentioned defining business value metrics upfront, not just tracking if the project was on time budget.
Critically important. Success isn't just it's live. Success is it's delivering the promised value. So you define key performance indicators, KPIs, before you start. Things like revenue uplift, cost reduction, faster cycle times, higher customer sat scores, tangible business outcomes.
So you can prove it worked.
Yes, and learn from it. This ties into cross-functional collaboration too. These big systems usually cross departmental boundaries. An ERP project needs input from finance, ops, sales, everyone. It breaks down silos. And it doesn't stop at launch. Continuous improvement and feedback is key. Post-launch reviews may be agile methods applied to enhance the system further based on real usage.
So ultimately, you need to answer that question. How is this making our company better? That justifies the investment.
Exactly. Even with shiny emerging technologies like AI or IoT, the question remains, what's the business value? How will we measure it? It all comes back to that core ITIL principle. Focus on value. Constantly.
Okay, final stretch. We've built it, rolled it out, managed the people side, aligned it to strategy. How do we actually know if it was truly successful? What are the hard numbers, the metrics that prove it delivered that value we keep talking about?
Right, the proof is in the pudding, post-implementation. You need a balanced set of metrics. First, look at project delivery metrics. Was it on time, on budget? Did it deliver the planned scope? How was the quality? How many defects? How many incidents did the deployment cause? That idle change enablement KPI, percentage of changes causing incidents, is relevant here.
But that just tells us if the project itself went okay, right? Not if the system is actually good.
It's exactly. Project success doesn't equal business success. So, next, absolutely crucial, user adoption and engagement metrics. Are people actually using it? What's the adoption rate? How much are they using different features? Utilization? Did the training stick? And crucially, what's user satisfaction? Surveys, feedback, how do users feel about it? Low adoption is a huge warning sign. Then you measure process performance metrics. Did the system achieve the business improvements it was supposed to? Measure efficiency. Did that cycle time actually decrease? Measure productivity. Are people handling more cases? Did error rates go down? Are we more compliant? For customer-facing systems, what happened to CSAT scores or wait times?
Okay, makes sense. What about the IT team managing it day to day?
Good point. You need IT operations metrics. After go live, are incident trends going down after maybe an initial bump? How quickly are issues resolved? Mean time to resolve, MTTR. In the DevOps world, what's the change failure rate? How often can we deploy updates safely? Deployment frequency.
And the bottom line, the money.
Yeah, ultimately, ROI and financial metrics. Can we quantify the benefits cost savings, revenue increases, and compare them to the total project cost? What's the payback period? This wraps the whole value story up in financial terms, which executives definitely need to see.
So lots of different angles to measure success. You mentioned baselines before you start.
Absolutely essential. You can't show improvement if you don't know the starting point.
Right.
Measure the before state. Then, continuous monitoring via dashboards keeps the focus on realizing those benefits. If a KPI isn't moving the right way, you investigate. Maybe more training is needed, maybe a system tweak. It's about active benefits management, not just launching and hoping.
Okay, that paints a really comprehensive picture.
It has to be. A good set of metrics covers usage, process outcomes, technical performance, and business results, moving from just project outputs to real business outcomes.
And that really brings us full circle on this deep dive into building information systems. Wow. We've gone from the core strategic value through the structured SDLC, integrating ITIL, looking at Waterfall versus Agile versus DevOps, tackling that crucial people side with change management, aligning with digital transformation, and finally, proving success through metrics.
It really shows building systems today is a complex but rewarding challenge. It demands that blend of technical skills, structured management like SDLC and ITIL, and real change leadership. Having that deep graduate level understanding means you can navigate it all. You can plan projects, integrate the frameworks, engage people, connect to strategy, and measure what matters.
So these skills really set you up not just to participate in IT projects, but to actually lead initiatives that transform the business.
That's the goal. Using technology to drive genuine business transformation. That's what modern information systems practice is all about.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. If you, our listeners, found this conversation valuable, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, share it around, and drop a comment below.
We really appreciate the engagement.
It helps us keep bringing these deep dives to you.
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. Considering how fast technology and business needs are changing all the time, beyond the technical skills, what do you think is the single most critical characteristic for an information systems professional to cultivate today to really ensure long-term career success in this landscape? Something to think about.